Hello everyone, welcome back to cyberLKC. So it's day 4 of hacking journey with Black Hat Python, and we are going to continue our networking basics with Python. And today we are going to cover TCP proxy. So why do we need TCP proxy? Like instead of a client connecting directly to server, it connects to the proxy, which then forwards the traffic to intended destination. And its like key purpose and uses will be like it helps to monitor traffic through the proxy, load balance, like if any n number of requests are sanded together, uh, server will not be able to handle that, so proxy will help to separate them and help to manage the server load. And next is like network security, all that we can handle through proxy. And now why we are creating this tool TCP proxy. There are several reasons to have a TCP proxy in your tool list. You might want to forward traffic to bounce from host to host when assessing the network based software, even when performing penetration testing in an enterprise environment. You probably won't be able to run Wireshark, nor you will be able to handle the loads. So we are going to build Python proxy like this one, and in various cases to help understand unknown protocols, modify traffic being sent to application, and create test case for others. We need to manage the traffic direction between remote and local machines. So let's start with our coding. This is the folder which we always use. Opening the editor, let's create a new file, tcp proxy.py. So let's import the libraries which we will use. So first we are going to create a hexsum function which helps to provide a human readable representation of binary data, because when we intercept any packets through any Wireshark tool or any other, it will show any binary only or non-readable form, but hexsum will helps to read that encrypted or binary data. So this will maps each byte value to either its printable ASCII character or a dot. If it is not printable, then it will just use the dot. And if the condition is true of this, then the character is printable. So let's continue for building our hex filter. So first we create a hex filter string that will contain ASCII printable characters. Then we have created a hexdump function which will help to decode the bytes if a string was passed in this. Then we grab a piece of the string to dump and put it in the word variable. We use a translate built-in function to substitute that string into the raw string that will be printable. We substitute the hex representation of the integer value to every character in the row string. And finally we create a array to hold the strings and result that contains the hex value. Let me give you a simple example that will help to understand it more. So just executing this function, for example, python rocks sorry, I forgot to define hex width. Hex width will be triple of length, so multiplying by 3. So as you can see, the function provides us with a way to watch the communication going through the proxy in real time. So let's create a function that the two ends of the proxy will use to receive the data. For receiving both local and remote data, we pass in a socket object to be used. We create a empty string buffer that will accumulate responses from the socket. By default, we set a 5-second timeout, which might be aggressive if we are proxying traffic to other countries or even lossy networks. So increase the timeout as necessary. Then we set up a loop to read response data into the buffer until there is no more data or we timeout. Finally, we return the buffer byte string to the caller, which could be either the local or remote machine. Sometimes you may want to modify the response or request packets before the proxy sends them on their way. So let's add a couple of functions to do that. Just add as per your requirement for performing modifications and return buffer. Same as for response. So inside this function, you can modify the packet's content and perform fuzzing tasks for authentication issues. So now let's start our proxy handler function that will handle over our main concept of our proxy. So created a TCP connection. So this function contains the bulk of the logic for our proxy. To start off, we connect our we connect to remote hosts, and then we check to make sure we don't need to first initiate a connection to remote side and request data before going into the main loop. So when we create a connection, some server try to send a banner like uh, connection established and all of that. So it will help to receive that first, and then we dump the contents of the packet so that we can inspect it for anything interesting. Next, we hand the output to the response handler function. So next we handle our all our information to the remote buffer by response handler, and then send the receiver function as a receiver buffer to the local client by this. And then the rest of the proxy code is straightforward. We set up our loop to continually read from the local client, process the data, and send it to the remote client until we'll no longer detect any data. So when there is no data to send on either side of the connection, we close the both the local and the remote socket and break out of the loop. And next we are going to put together server loop function to set up and manage the connections. So server loop function creates first server and then bind the local server, and if any error takes place, it will return the statement for that, and then it will listen on our local host and local port for maximum 5 connections in the main loop. When a fresh connection request comes in, we hand it off to the proxy handler in a new thread, which does all of the sending and receiving of juicy bits to either side of our data stream. And now only part left to write is the main function. Let's complete that. Let's call our main function. So in the main function, we took in some command lines argument and then fire up the server loop that listens for connection. Now let's test it against our FTP server. Let's do the practical of our this TCP proxy. So let's launch it, and we need the sudo permission because we are going to use port 21 and it requires sudo privileges. This executing this TCP proxy with localhost and port will be 21, and for port 21 we require the sudo privileges, so we use sudo, and our remote host will be this, and port will be same 21. Let's run this. So it is listening. Now from our terminal, let's start FTP because remote 21 port is for FTP, and IP will be this same. So we retrieve the connection. Let's type the name, and yeah, user LKC is logged in. So if we don't enter into or 5 seconds, it close the connection automatically. So we need to change that. Let's increase this set timeout for 30 seconds, and now let's rerun that. So receive connection first, then yeah, it's welcome, and that means send packets takes place. And let's type the name anonymous. It will send to the server TCP proxy. And now in the next video we are going to cover the SSH with Paramiko. So that's it for this. Thank you, and if you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you.